Welcome to the workshop. Today we are working on this 2000 Mesa Boogie triple rectifier guitar amplifier head. The Mesa Boogie rectifier series was introduced in 1992. Development of this amplifier series began in the late 1980s when hair metal was popular. 1992 turned out to be a pivotal year, during which hair metal suddenly died. Heavy metal got heavier with much more emphasis on bottom end. Singing turned into screams and growls. Uppers went out of style, and now people were doing the nod once again. This made sense because you needed to be sedated to tolerate the new grunge music thing. The Mesa Boogie rectifier series came along at just the right time to provide the new sound. 1992 was also a seminal year for hip-hop culture, but I think that most Mesa Boogie aficionados would rather pretend that hip-hop never existed. This monstrous amplifier is equipped with 4 12AX7 preamplifier tubes, 1 12AX7 phase splitter tube, 6 5881 power tubes, and 3 5U4 rectifier tubes. It also has the ability to switch over to a solid-state rectifier circuit. This amplifier was already checked out by the guys at the store. I was given 2 very specific tasks to perform. I need to figure out why this amplifier makes a loud, intermittent crackling noise. This noise is most likely not coming from any jacks, switches, or potentiometers. I also need to change a resistor that has a chunk broken off of it. The broken chunk is stuck to the board next to the resistor. Let's get to work. I have already plugged the amplifier into a speaker cabinet. Let's power it up and see what happens. Thankfully, that was uneventful. Let's flip on the standby switch. This is a very high gain amplifier. It has a bit of hum and hiss, but it's not terrible. Let's try plugging in an instrument cable. Okay, let's try plugging in a guitar. I guess we will find out on the fly if the guitar is in tune. No, it is not. G-strings might look sexy, but in reality, they're a real pain in the butt. If you would like to watch a full demonstration of this amplifier, there are plenty of great videos out there. Make sure that you choose one featuring a middle-aged man with his hair dyed black and his fingernails painted black. That's my benchmark criteria. Right now, you are watching this middle-aged man who forgot to change out of his sweatpants before recording this video sequence. Now, we will be using our primary diagnostic tool. One of these tubes is not like the others. This seemingly primitive test is quickly giving me a tremendous amount of information. tube number 5 from the left is very loose in the socket. All of the tubes themselves appear to be internally stable. A crackling noise that resembles the complaint as it was described to me can be heard when I shake tube 5 and sometimes when I shake tube 4 as well. I have spent a good amount of time moving things around, observing the noises that I was hearing, and when the noises were occurring. I now have a good mental picture that the problem is either with the tube socket itself or with a connection wired to the socket. Wow, it is really loose in there. That is a statement spoken by many a Mesa Boogie player after a gig. Before disassembly, we are going to plug this loose socket with another tube that is known to be a top performer. We will test my loose socket or bad connection theory and rule out a problem within the base of the tube itself. We have conclusively ruled out a connection problem within the base of the original tube. We will put the original tube back in and move on. Mesa Boogie amplifiers are notoriously difficult to diagnose and repair. Here are what I feel are the two main reasons. The first reason is in the layout and construction. Multiple rigid bus bars connect all of the tube sockets. The components are arranged in dense clusters, with many of the capacitors glued together. Repairs are very time-consuming and labor-intensive. The other reason why Mesa Boogie amplifiers are often difficult to repair is because accurate schematic diagrams and technical information can be a challenge or even impossible to obtain. We are going to plug everything in again and then probe all of the connections until we figure out what is causing this problem. We are using a wooden chopstick because it is not conductive. This amplifier is particularly dangerous because of all of these uninsulated rigid bus bars, several of which carry high voltage. The danger here is not only from electrocution, you can also easily cause a short circuit with a conductive tool or component. It is extremely obvious that the problem is emanating from this tube socket. I just need to keep probing and observing until I can figure it out. The intermittent nature of this problem and the fact that I am not observing its direct cause is slightly frustrating, but it is also exciting at the same time. I feel like a detective who is just one step away from solving an elusive mystery. Maybe I should just go ahead and reflow all of these solder joints. I would really like to positively identify the problem before I do this. I should flip this chassis back over and closely inspect the tube socket first. Let's take a closer look at this while it is still all set up in front of us. I really hope that we do not need to replace this tube socket. If the socket is bad, I will need to discuss the repair cost with our customer before I proceed. I was already instructed to replace a broken resistor from the top without taking the circuit board out. I cannot imagine that they are looking to do restoration-grade repairs. I can just cut out the bus bars and wire in the new tube socket. This amplifier is going to be a collector's item in the near future, so I would like to keep it as original as possible. When I move the tube around now, I feel like it is behaving differently than it was a short while ago. One definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over, yet expecting different results. In this circumstance, however, something has changed. We are definitely getting closer to solving this mystery. The problem is now consistent and directly reproducible. I can probably bend this retainer back into shape. Let's pull this tube out and take a really close look at the socket. The terminals or contacts themselves are rather loose in the socket base, but otherwise they are not in bad condition. We are going to bend this tube retainer, reinstall the 5881 power tube, and then flip this amplifier over again. It looks like letting the amplifier heat up and then cool off while continuously moving the tube around has finally revealed the root of the intermittent crackling noise. We need to remove the old solder from this connection. We are going to heat it up and then wash it away by adding additional solder. We will then remove all of the drippings with my solder sucker. Removing the old solder and then making a solid new solder joint took a bit more time and effort than I am showing here. Using just a wooden chopstick, along with the power of patient observation, we have solved this mystery. Now we are going to change this broken resistor. We are going to cut the resistor out, leaving the leads as long as possible. We are going to wrap the leads from the new resistor around the leads sticking out of the board a couple of times, making a firm mechanical connection before quickly soldering it into place. This blue metal film resistor was supplied to me by the guys at the music store. I have been enunciating the word resistor because I may have let some Brooklynese slip out in earlier segments of this video presentation. I would have preferred to use a carbon film resistor similar to the rest of the resistors in this circuit, but unfortunately I only have a 1/4 watt 1.8 kilo ohm resistor in stock. If anyone would like to start a discussion about how different types of resistors impact tone, please leave a comment below. Right now, we are going to concentrate on this high voltage device in front of us. We need to probe this amplifier once again to make certain that our repairs are solid and that we did not miss any other problems. Let's plug in a guitar and try out both channels. It sounds great. This is the last great new amplifier that came out when I was a young and aspiring musician. Treat them nicely so that the next generation knows what being a guitar player felt like when we were in our formative years. Before I let this leave my workbench, we are going to tighten all of the knobs, front and back. Thank you very much for watching. Please like this video and subscribe to our Mandito Amplification channel. Utilize the comment section below if you have any questions or comments.